So look what came in the mail today. So I think you're gonna like this video because the folks over at Giraffe Tools who are sponsoring this video contacted me a while back. It's actually been a couple months now, and they said we have a really cool new product that's going to hit the market, and we really think you and your viewers would like it a lot. So they developed this really awesome pressure washer with a 100-foot auto-retracting hose that you can wall mount. And I was like, man, I'm all in. This thing is super cool, and I really would like to test it. So they sent me one of these for review and evaluation. They're going to sponsor this video, and hopefully it lives up to what I'm looking for, because you guys know me. Just because it's sponsored content doesn't absolutely mean it's going to get a thumbs up for me. So hang tight. I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is, all unboxed. Very, very cool. Now, this is a pretty heavy setup. Probably weighs over 60 pounds. It's very heavy. It's heavier than I thought it would be, but that's also me not really comparing it to probably what I should be comparing it to, which is more like a gas-powered pressure sprayer. The other pressure sprayer that I have out here is actually just one of those cheapy ones that you pick up from Sam's Club, and quite frankly, it doesn't perform very well, and it's not that heavy. It probably weighs 25 pounds. And what is bad about it is the fact that it feels cheap. It feels flimsy. This does not. This feels very well made. It has 100 feet of hose already on it, which is super awesome. So, you know, a hose, especially if you buy aftermarket hose, can get very expensive and very heavy. But it's all integrated into this one as well, which is super nice. You have a connection here on the side, which I'm assuming is your water inlet. And they give you a small, shorter hose right here so you can connect it to your water source if it's going to be above a spigot or something like that. You have your power plug, which is nice and cradled on the back here. And again, you have this entire reel assembly here, which is super cool. The back side of it, let's flip this around a little bit. Here's your wall mounting plate, so you can get this thing mounted on the wall, which is nice, right? You can just keep this maybe in the garage or on the side of your garage and have quick access to a pressure sprayer without having to pull it out from wherever you have it stored. And with 100 feet of hose, that's really the key here. You have 100 feet of length with this hose, so you can get it where you need it. Whereas most of your pressure sprayers are going to have like 25 feet. And you know, you can probably buy an aftermarket hose, things like that, but 25 feet is certainly not enough to wash a lot of vehicles, certainly not enough to get around things. You end up moving the whole unit around. But to have 100 feet of hose already integrated into this is super cool. Got a little breaker there as well, so it'll trip if it's pulling too much current or something like that's happening. So the first thing I want to do is start kind of digging into this and see what all I need to connect to make this thing work. Okay, so assembling the wand is pretty simple. You simply take the two ends here and attach that right here. Okay, then you're going to take your soap fill. You're going to screw it onto this piece right here, like that. It's kind of cool because they have little, like I said, little holes for your cord, and they also have a little spot here for your soap dispenser when you're not using it. You're going to have all of your different types of spraying valves up front to adjust the spray pattern. So you can either have it like a really, really narrow beam, or you can have it a really wide fanned out beam. And then you have this piece right here, which attaches to the front right there as well. So you can put your soap in here, and then you can also adjust your flow, or the amount of soap that actually comes out whenever you're spraying. So that's very cool. So these right here will go into this right here to hold it when you're not using them. Just like that. So if I want to unplug that one for now, and I want to put it on a different fan beam, you can see this is a 15-degree spray. This one is a 25-degree spray, 40-degree, and that's just pretty much a straight little laser if you want to really get something off, just like that. So very similar to most pressure washers in the sense that, you know, they give you the ability to carry around all your little valves or your spray pattern tips on it, and they attach with quick connects, which is really nice as well. And then to attach your hose, you just screw that on right here. Like that. Now before we get this thing hung on the wall, let's go over a few specs. So as I mentioned earlier, it has a 100-foot high pressure hose. which again is already spooled on it whenever you get it. It produces 2,500 PSI. That's pretty impressive for a plug-in unit. A lot of the plug-in units are far lower than that. This is actually closer to the specs of like a gas-powered unit, so that's really nice. At 1.3 gallons per minute flow. So the specs on this are actually pretty dang nice, to be honest with you. And it also carries a retail price of $599.99. Now, according to the instructions, this thing is super easy to mount. You simply take your wall plate right here. They use a little, like a little cable tie right there to secure it to the back so it doesn't fall off. You simply drill this into a wall and then you slide the unit on top of it. The sheer weight of the unit is going to prevent it from coming out because it's very, very heavy. But that's apparently all you really need to do. So let's go ahead and get this thing mounted on a wall and see what it looks like. Okay, so what I've decided to do is actually mount this 2x8 on the wall, which is going to be the base for this to be able to support this, because the wall I'm mounting it on is actually a garage wall. Let me show you where it's going. Okay, so here is the side of the garage. All of that is spray foam that I've used to fill in holes that have been formed over time. And there's my power outlet right there. And I plan on mounting it right here because the cord will be able to reach the power outlet easy enough, and I can easily run water over all this as well. So, okay, so we have the 2x8 mounted. And at some future date, I plan on painting it to actually match the wall so it blends in a little bit better. But for now, it'll work for what I need. And because the Giraffe is so easy to remove off of the mount if I want to, I can just simply slide it off, paint the mount, and put it back on. So the packaging included 4 bolts as well as a bunch of anchors. I'm not going to use the anchors because I'm going straight into that big piece of lumber. And we'll use the bolts though to go ahead and put it in place. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pre-drill the holes that the bolts will be going into. Now we'll go ahead and bolt the plate on. There we go, all mounted in place. Now let's get the pressure washer over here and get it hung. It was very nice of them to include handles on the side of this because it is relatively heavy. And that is what it looks like mounted. Again, I am going to paint the back right here to match the side of the garage. That way it blends in real well. And they told me that it's rated so you can keep it outside, which is also really nice. But let's go ahead and get this thing connected to water, connected to the wand, and using it, because I think that's probably what all you guys are waiting for. Okay, so they give you this cool little length of hose, and they have this little piece right here with the little screen filter that you would screw on to the end of the pressure washer right here. And then this will screw onto this end right here, and then this end goes to your water hose. So let's go ahead and get that connected. Okay, so now that we have the hose connected, let's just connect this to the end of a water hose. I'm going to do all that before I plug this in, so we're going to get all of our connections made first. Alright, y'all know I absolutely love quick connects, so I'm going to use a quick connect here on this side of the hose. Alright, we got our quick connect, and we're going to plug our hose in. The water is not currently on. To turn it on, I simply have to twist this, and then water will probably start spraying out of here. Let's see what happens. Give it a second. It's got 100 feet to go through. I hear it flowing, so it should just be a matter of time before it works its way all the way through that 100 feet of hose and starts squirting out of here. There we go. Had me worried for a second. Okay, so the next step is to connect the hose to the bottom of the wand, or the sprayer, right here. There we go. And then finally, we have to connect the power cord right there over to the plug over here. All right, I'm going to walk away from it and leave the camera here recording for a second. So I gotta admit, that's pretty cool. I have it ran right over here, running way over here, and I love that kind of auto stop feature where if you tug on it, it stops retracting the cord back in, which is super cool. Pressure sprayer's way over here. Let's demonstrate it a little bit. So this is the pond, some of you may remember. Let's see how this thing works. Not gonna lie, that is pretty dang cool, to be honest. And you know what? It actually feels pretty dang powerful. It doesn't feel like it's underpowered or anything. Okay, so I have a bunch of the hose unwound right now. Okay, so we have most of the hose unraveled now and extended out to the truck. So let's see how this works. And it's probably going to be pretty quiet since it's on the other side of the garage. It is. This is kind of weird because we're so far away from it right now that you just barely hear it running. And all you hear out here is pressurized water from it actually working. And like I said, it feels pretty dang powerful. It doesn't feel like it's lacking any power at all. This is really cool. It's just so convenient. It really is. I mean, wireless technology isn't quite there yet if you really want power. But this thing just works so well, and you can just kind of barely hear it in the background. Takes a second for that pressure to get to it, but it only takes a couple seconds actually. That is super cool, and this would have come in really handy with the mini excavator, washing it off. Now something else that's really neat is that they have this little stop right here, so this prevents the hose from being pulled in completely, which is nice. But we're going to do one final test with this thing, which I think is really important, and that is going to be the retraction feature, how it actually pulls this hose back in. Alright, so we're back over here at the unit. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to shut the water off. And we are going to see how this thing retracts, because right now, as you can see, we're on the last row of hose. So wow, right now it's going around a garbage bin, and that's the only reason it's kind of going slower, but it's pulling everything. Check that out. That is super cool. And then you simply unfasten that, put it away. You can unplug it if you want, and you have a little spot here on the side to put your power adapter on. That is super cool. You know, it's hard to get excited about pressure sprayers, to be honest with you, because there hasn't been a heck of a lot of change. They all mainly do the same thing, and most people struggle with the same thing. For me, I don't like keeping fuel in it because I don't use my pressure sprayer so much that I burn through a full tank of gas. So whenever I use my Rigid, which is my big pressure sprayer, it's just not convenient. It's super heavy, super bulky. It's just not the perfect tool for me. So that's why I got a little cheapy one, which is over there. And the little cheapy one is exactly that. It's just, I hate to say it, it's kind of a piece of junk. And I went through a lot of parts on it to try to get it, or to try to keep it up and running. This is really nice. The fact that it mounts on the wall, it has 100 feet of hose that's already on a spool that's replaceable if you need to. And it's powerful. You know, it's a lot of power. That's really the test of one of these things is how powerful is it and can it do the job? I always remove my spray handle whenever it's in storage. Some people don't. I always do. But yeah, this thing is super cool. It retracts the hose exceptionally well, just like a winch. It does a really, really good job. But yep, super excited. Really appreciate these guys for sponsoring the video, sending this out to me for review and evaluation. Anyways, guys, I'll put a link in the description of this video if this is something you may be interested in. So far, I really like it. You know, we're going to test this out over the long term. We're going to use this for other projects. When I get the mini excavator out here again, it gets dirty again, we're going to use this to spray it down. But so far, I'm pretty dang impressed, to be honest. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, check out the link in this video if you're interested in this product. For 600 bucks, not that bad of a deal. It's actually a pretty good price. So, you know, only time will tell how long it will last. We hope to get a lot of hours out of this thing, but definitely looking forward to putting it to the test. We'll talk to you again very soon.